Good day, peeps. Welcome to Heart Talks. Today, my guest is Vell Zimmerman. I've had him on my show every season. And thank you, Vell. Coming from Germany, I love it when I can keep track of you.
Absolutely. Once again, it's a great honor. Greetings all. Thank you very much for having me. A wonderful opportunity to connect through this platform once again.
You know, the reason why I became friends with Vell quite a few years ago on Facebook was because I needed a safe and supportive place to be and share my galactic memories. My association with the Federation began in the mid-90s, and really I kept it mostly to myself until I got onto Facebook and started meeting other like minds, like hearts. And Vell has never wavered, not once in all the years that I've known him. I consider him authentic and true to himself. And I appreciate the safe and supportive place that you give me to be myself. And all of those who love you and have been watching your posts every day, we all thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for being here. Once again, the connection is a great honor and blessing for me to be able to share and serve, as we all do, as one collective. Once again, the sense of focus and consistency that is there and that is expressed is necessary and an aspect of my mission and being here during this time. So once again, it's a great honor for me to provide the particular service through this platform in which we all are connected. So thank you very much for being here. We are all blessed.
Yes, yes, indeed. I thought that we would take this opportunity to talk about Agartha.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
This is another word would be called hollow earth, which is different than flat earth or middle earth.
Understood. Understood.
Could you, and before we get started, I also have invited all of my galactic team to be with us today to support us in this efforts that we are making to introduce people to trigger their memories of their galactic parts or their team. And so I feel that we have the support of our galactic team with us today.
Absolutely. So once again, always a pleasure and an honor to express through this vehicle. As a collective, it's necessary to realize that there are certain aspects of this particular reality that aren't necessarily available. However, there are a wide aspect of this particular reality that is available to share through this platform at this time. I reiterate often through the vehicles of the transmissions here on Facebook and other media platforms that I focus more so on the grounding aspect versus the details, where an aspect of the transition or a large part of the transition is to actually experience firsthand these particular realities. However, we are able to disclose certain aspects of these realities to the public as indications of what's taking place, and just to provide a sense of comfort as far as what can be expected and a sense of grace and calm to know what's taking place, and to familiarize people with what's taking place within the paradise realms of the inner earth as we know it. So as a small disclaimer that was necessary, but for the most part, here we go. For the most part, inner earth and the exterior or the surface plane are they are one and the same, however, on different frequency levels or different dimensional planes. In the original configuration of the planet, this is the nature of inner and outside, or the crust of the planet. So for the most part, what we're experiencing here is a very dim, dismal distortion of the nature of the paradise world that is planet Earth. Agartha will be experiencing experienced by awakened humanity that does reach an energetic stage of transformation and moving into the inner earth for our transformation. For the most part, we're talking about a very, very lush, vibrant reality that would seem almost magical to the eye. If you look amongst your current reality, you're experiencing a very, once again, a very dim, foggy sense of clarity, in which we realize or able to see optically at present are somewhere around 30% of the actual 100% vibrancy of the paradise world or inner earth as we would know it. However, this is similar to a light switch being cut on to experience these realities. With that being said, we're talking about a sense of vibrancy in all aspects of the reality in itself, from the oceans that we experience being a lot smaller or a lot less in depth than the oceans there in Agartha, as far as the landscape and the mountains, a lot taller, a lot more vast, bigger than what we experience here on the planet. The life there is much more expansive. We're talking about an abundance of life where everything's flourished amongst a 24-hour sunlight experience. The central core is a 24-hour light source that is the heart of Gaia as we know it. And with this energy, or with these energies, it allows those life forms to expand and flourish as they do naturally. However, once again, here on the surface, we're experiencing a very small percentage of what life is naturally in its original configuration. So that's first and foremost. There's quite it's very expansive. There are quite a few crystal cities, from Telos with the surface world to the capital city, which is Shambhala, which is actually the first contact base is close to Shambhala. Is geographically, it's right below what we know to be Tibet on the surface world. So if you were to go directly under the city or the area that is Tibet, you'd find in close proximity Shambhala, and of course the first contact base that's set up, which is a central location for our galactic community, and who we are, the Galactic Federation of Light. This is where we've set up our shop as far as our liaison, and communicate directly with the inner Earth Agarthan liaison and the mission as far as the transition is concerned. So besides the oceans, the clarity, the landscape, the vegetation, the life forms are very, very expansive in nature. I mean, from what we know in our prehistoric history here on Earth to be dinosaurs and the dragon realms. We're talking about many, many different leftwards from all over the intergalactic community here to the planet Earth, where Earth has, for most people who are pretty much aware, where Earth is a collection of life forms and being a living library in itself, and a hub for the intergalactic community in itself, as far as the later parts of our transition. So it's a very, very vast community, and a lot of life, a lot of activity taking place. And once the transition takes place, where we are transported, we're actually witnessing and are able to see what physical life will look like here on the surface world, based on our 3-day experience there for the crystal light chambers in a transformation, while the surface world goes through its transition and cleaning process. So I could go on for quite some time about the Agarthan experience and its existence and its nature. However, that's basically a small synopsis of that particular existence.
All right. For those people who feel especially close to the dragon world and the fairy worlds and all those magical worlds, is that because they have a strong memory or connection with Agartha? This
is so. Very, very intuitive knowing, and most people have these connections, and this is where they share a familiarity, if you will, that's very intuitive with these realms. And once again, within our conscious experience here on the planet, we experience communications and connections with these realms as far as indicators and aspects of our path in order to realize what's taking place and realize our own connection with these realms, and somewhat of a clarion call, if you will, attempting to reintegrate themselves and connect with us on a conscious level, and bringing us back to a sense of balance and allowing us to focus even more upon the excitement and prospect of being able to share a physical connection on these dimensional realms.
Right. So while systems are breaking down here on the outer world, this is setting it up for all the aspects of Hollow Earth to find its way onto the outer world. Absolutely. A gentle integration where we're being groomed to a certain extent, where this gentle process is taking, in linear time, it's necessary to take this gentle glide and receive small spurts of energy, visions, realizations, notions on an internal level. The more we focus on the inside, we're becoming more sensitive to these energies, because it's necessary for us to acclimate ourselves gracefully into these particular realities, so it's not so startling. Once again, we're talking about a very vast and shocking reality that's extremely different from what we're experiencing at present. Are we being visited now from our family? Are they able to come up to the outer world and visit and communicate with us? Absolutely. They're being fifth dimensional beings, which being the destiny of Earth humanity as galactic humans, is very, very possible and quite easy for Agarthans to manifest themselves, to appear just as we do, and integrate themselves within our environment, within our reality, to make that particular connection, even if it's sharing a close proximity energy field where we receive these notions and we feel a lot more sensitive more those energies make themselves known to us on an energetic level that's not so aggressive or abrasive, but gentle, just to continue the acclimation process. Right. And how is it that we can open ourselves up and activate the memories of ourselves? Or this is a very, very integrated process. That's an aspect of, well, actually a very fine aspect of the internal focusing process, the grounding process that we speak so heavily of. The more you ground, the more you focus within, the more you become very sensitive to these energies, the more you allow yourself to blossom. And this is where, once again, the internal focus and the less, I digress 1 second, please. What I'm attempting to communicate is the less information that's being received or graceful it is to expand and blossoming internally. So the more that's being fed as far as information and detail, yes, the imagination loves the experience and the curiosity of attempting to build mental pictures of what it's like to be there and so on and so forth. However, these energies, this mental play, it only aids and caters to more ego identity. Yeah. And where we return to the heart space and we continue to allow ourselves to sense descriptions of what's taking place. We allow ourselves that much more of what's already known internally. Yeah. I want to mention that when I have guests with very high vibration, we often experience technical difficulties because the energy and our tech is not weaving perfectly yet. And so we get little glitches, but it's just to prove exactly what you're talking about. I want to thank you again for being so clear and honest and realistic with the messages here. And I want to encourage anybody who believes they're starting to have galactic memories to reach out and join those of us who are having them already, so that you know that this is real, this is true, and that we are a family. And I know that some of you, there's so many people who just love you so much and were concerned with you when you were in the hospital. This goes along with the empath show that I did last week. It hits our bodies, our physical bodies, pretty strong. And whenever this energy goes through, it does take adjustment. And thank you again for you know, all the efforts that you are putting in to continue to share these messages, including the physical chaos that happens. So again, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I
Thanks
hope
again,
you
sir.
enjoyed this, and I encourage you to breathe in, be calm, be at peace, make great.